Hey there, Mavericks! Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here today, for choosing me to go on this journey with. I'm so excited for us, for everyone watching. I am the Networking Maverick. Thank you for being here today. And we're on a journey for what? $1 million 2019! Woo! That is what we're doing this year. We're going for it. And the way that I'm trying to accomplish that and give to all of you is through this series of YouTube videos where we're going to talk about networking tips, maybe some networking reviews, also going to be interviewing the networking mavens, providing you some e-mentorship. And there's also going to be blogs, a monthly newsletter, so many possibilities in the future. But my whole purpose and the reason I'm doing this is because I noticed that there was a lack of mentorship. People, especially women, lack mentors that are going to push them and remind them how amazing they are and that they can do it and to go for it. And you know, we have a lot of positive messages on social media, but there's no one really giving people that e-mentorship. They're giving you the practical tools and experience that you need in order to feel confident in launching your business. So I want to engage with you, educate you, motivate you, and most importantly, empower you. Woo, 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 woo. This video is the first in the series. Very exciting. We're going to talk a little bit later about my top 5 tips and strategies you can implement today to start turning your network into your net worth. That's right. The 5 after, I believe, there's going to be 5 deep dives that we're going to go into each one of those strategies so you can learn it a little bit more. But on this video, before doing those top 5 tips and strategies, I just wanted to give you a little bit more information about me. Maybe I don't know you, we haven't met. I want to give you a little bit of knowledge and perspective on my life, where I came from, where I'm at now, and where we're all going to be in the future. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my why. As some of you may know, I'm actually an attorney. I'm licensed in Florida. I'm the co-founder of Marscano & Leyva, which is a law firm in Miami, Florida, with my wonderful partner, Carolina Leyva, a fully female-owned law firm. Whoop, 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 whoop. And I do commercial and business litigation and transactional formation, everything for business owners to help them start up, protect, and litigate when they need to. She handles the family law side. She's amazing. I've known her since law school. We've been friends for a long time. But we weren't always there, were we? So let's go back, way back into my life. I'm an Italian American, and I'm actually Italian, Polish, German, Scotch, Irish, so many things. So I come from a family of immigrants. And the reason that's important is because I feel like immigrants, really work hard in this country, and especially my family. It's no surprise that I came from a line of really strong, powerful females and men. Because let's not forget, as women, we like to empower each other and ourselves, but we need the men. We need those men in our lives. I have an amazing life partner, Sebastian, that is nothing but supportive of my dream, and we're building our empires together. So we need those men in our lives also supporting us and out there every day. So I appreciate you. I see you. But so my great-grandparents, very strong. My great-grandmother on my mother's side brought the Sons of Italy chapter to her small town in Pennsylvania. I like to call it the Daughters of Italy since she started it, but Sons of Italy. My grandmother, very strong woman as well, had 6 kids, including my mom, my amazing mother, 5 sons with my mom the only woman. And from what I hear, my grandmother always let my mom be who she wanted to be growing up, whether it was a tomboy or head majorette, anything. And unfortunately, my grandmother passed away at a very young age, which was a very tumultuous time for, I know, my mother and her family. And my mom had to step up to the plate. She was 16 and she had to step up and take care of her brothers. She helped take care of the home and do everything, and it made her mature very fast. And when she met my dad, she was actually a working woman making more than my dad. What? But she chose to be a stay-at-home mom eventually. She had my sister, who's 6 years older. Shout out to Lizzie. Dr. Elizabeth Marscano, if you will. One of the only female GI doctors in the country, powerhouse in her own right. Had my sister and told my dad, you know what, Tom? We're gonna need to figure out how to make this work where you go get the paycheck and I'm at home with the kids. So she was amazing. My dad, in his own right, great family, Italian American immigrants as well. My grandmother, his mom, was actually so smart, so powerful, graduated high school around the age of 14, 15 years old, was a nurse, one of the youngest to graduate from nursing school around 17, 18 years old, began practicing. And the thing I love about both sides of my family and all the stories I've heard is that the women were really trying to be financially independent. You know, they were getting out there in the workforce, and that was something that was rare back then. After World War II, you know, we all know like the Rosie the Riveter and the women going into the workforce, but it's great to know that in my family that was happening. And I really strongly believe that if my great-grandparents and my grandparents were here with us today, they would be powerhouse entrepreneurs, or at least owners of an Etsy store. Everyone has one of those these days. But I really do think that it helped, that background in my family history really led to who I am today. So my mom, so formative for us growing up. She always told us two things. The first thing is to keep that PMA, positive mental attitude. PMA. That's something that we practice. We have to live it every day. And keeping that positive mental attitude is so hard sometimes. Honestly, I know it's cyclical. Being an entrepreneur, there are ups and downs in any job, any life. There's not always sunshine and rainbows, right? And so keeping that positive mental attitude is so hard, but so important. It's the thing that's going to keep you going and get you through those lean, dark times. So for me, that happened when I was younger. I was bullied. And I guess it's probably not surprising because I was consistently the new girl. I grew up in hotels, like I said before, which was amazing on the one hand, but on the other, I was changing schools a lot at a very young, formative age. So being the new girl didn't help. And then, I was always this curvy. But back then, I didn't think of it in a confident way. I wasn't the confident, curvy queen you see before you today. No. I was a little less confident, right? Like I was a little sad about it. Mainly because of how my appearance seemed to resonate with those around me in a negative way. Again, at a young age, it was very dark for me a little bit, which is sad to say. But the way I got through it was having a strong support system, my family unit, my mom, my sister, my dad, and keeping that PMA was so invaluable. It was so hard trying to change my perspective and focus on the positive, but mindset is everything. Without that mindset, it doesn't matter what I'm going to teach you. If you don't have that mindset, you're not going to succeed. You have to have this positive mental attitude, so keep it with you constantly. The second thing that her and my dad always said, they were consistent on this, is never let anyone tell you you can't do something, right? She could have added the qualifiers, can't do something because you're a woman or because you're tall or curvy or short or anything, but she didn't. She said, never let anyone tell you you can't do something. She might have regretted that on some level later because I would use that against her. But it's true. We should have this confidence in ourselves. And I really went through life with that positive mental attitude and the can-do attitude that a lot of entrepreneurs in general have, right? But it's so important for female entrepreneurs. I go through high school, go to University of Tampa, dual major international business and finance. Go to Oxford, study under some professors in the law there, which was an amazing experience. Get into my dream school, law school. What's up, Canes? Went there, graduated, and went through that process. Passed the bar on the first try because no one's doing that again, right? Or if you've done it, congratulations, not for me. And I started practicing immediately. I was at a great firm. I was the third attorney. There's only 3 of us. Got thrown into the courtroom very early, got a lot of trial experience. I was representing business owners. I was feeling really great about the job I was doing and who I was representing, but I wasn't getting the paycheck I thought would make me successful, right? Because I had this image of what's successful. So I started looking for another career and I got it. I got my second job, which was at Big Law. I went into Big Law. And it was great. I honestly really had an amazing experience in federal law. It's intellectually stimulating, representing multinational corporations. And even though I liked what I was doing, I still didn't feel fulfilled, right? I was working with a chain of command. I wasn't seeing that business owner, the look on a business owner's face when you win a trial or a hearing or help them in their life. It feels so great. And you don't necessarily get that with the chain of command on either side in big law representing big corporations. This is what I always thought was successful, right? I'm where my idea of success, that's what I'd always thought, and I was there, but I wasn't happy. And I was like, man, what am I doing wrong, right? So I started talking to some important people in my life, including my family, my significant other, Sebastian, who's been nothing but supportive and always pushing me to be my best self, and my now business partner, and then also my female colleagues at the time. Having that support system of strong females in your same industry is invaluable sometimes to give you that motivation, that perspective that maybe you're lacking. And I remember a conversation we had at one point talking about what should I do? What are my options? I'd always thought about owning a law firm, but I was like, no, that's for when we're 60 years old and we want an easier life. We're going to retire and we get some associates and we do some mentorship for them. But, oh no, I can't do that now. I'm 3 years out of law school. No one's going to hire me. Where am I going to get clients from? I'm going to give up a paycheck? All these things rushing through my head. And that I was saying to them. And I remember they looked at me and they said, well, Lauren, it sounds like the only person telling you can't is you. Oh my God. That's so true. I could not believe. I wouldn't let anyone else tell me I can't. Why am I hearing it from myself? And why am I doubting myself? Right? So I decided that's it. I'm going to launch my own firm. I started saving up money. But I did remember, talking to Carolina in law school that we would do this when we're older, but I went to her anyway and I said, hey, listen, I decided I'm going to open up my own law firm. I would love for you to come with me. Luckily, she said yes, right? We got business married and we opened our own law firm 3 years ago. We made 6 figures our first year. We doubled it our second year and we were like, what? It's crazy. And now what are we doing? Going for $1 million in 2019. So that's what we're going through this process. I want to tell you the strategies that we implemented in order to make that 6-figure number our first year, double it, and consistently improve on it. So the way we do that and the way we split it up is splitting up our networking activities and marketing. These top 5 tips I'm about to tell you are what I implemented in helping build my book of business and making my connections, because I'm all about always be connecting, right? Everyone talks about always be closing, ABC, always be closing. I'm always be connecting. That's my thing. I'm all about building relationships and leveraging those for the future, because it's not necessarily that you're going to make that connection immediately and get business, right? That shouldn't be the mentality. That's not what I like. I like to form that relationship and really make a meaningful connection with someone, whether it's online or offline. First of all, you need to identify your target market. If you don't have that, if you haven't done that, that's very, very important. You need to know, what are your values? What does this product solve? What's the reason behind this product? Who is this going to resonate with? Try to describe that person in detail. As a lawyer, when we first started, I really wanted to focus on high-powered females that want to either launch their own company or have launched it and want the support of someone that understands where they came from, right? Because that's what I had been doing. I started my own firm at this point. So I thought, okay, now that I've identified them, so what are they? They're probably in their 20s or 30s, maybe the 40s, starting their own business, maybe coming out of the workforce to start it, maybe just coming out of school wanting to start it. Maybe they were recently divorced and need to make their own income, be financially independent. That's the picture of the woman that I had in my mind. So I've identified them. So step 2 is you're going to research. This is important. A lot of people maybe identify the market, but then they don't put in the legwork to figure out where those people are. So not only do you need to research where your target client is going, but you need to know where your target customer is going, right? Because the exercise we did in step 1, we identified our own target customer. They're doing that same thing most likely. Especially for me, I want to target high-powered business owners. So in my mind, I thought, what business is that person in? Are they in the creative industry? Are they just a business owner selling a product? Are they in the service industry? And what's their target customer? Because that's where they're going to go. They're going to try to find their own target customer. So not only am I going to go to, for instance, chamber events, because chambers are really great. A lot of business owners there. Almost everyone's a business owner or working in a business, building their own book of business. And, and I think that's something also, just as a side note to keep in mind, even though we're talking a lot about empowerment and launching your own business here, it's important to keep in mind that these strategies are something that you can use even if you're building your own book of business or you're working in a company, because a lot of people say the reason they don't launch a business is because they like that paycheck. They feel comfortable, they're secure. Well, let me tell you, in Florida, it's an at-will state. And they can fire you for almost any reason that's non-discriminatory. # not legal advice. But they can really let you go for a lot of reasons. So you're not really secure. You might psychologically think you're secure because you get that paycheck that they promise you. But the only way to really make yourself secure is to become invaluable for that business owner. And the way you're going to do that is by having your own book of business or by being a rainmaker. So a lot of these strategies you can implement as well. So I digress. Sorry for that aside, but just keep that in mind. We're identifying our target market. We're thinking, where can I go? So the chamber events are bigger, smaller events. Where are your streams of income coming from? So for lawyers, a lot of other lawyers refer us business. So I want to target other lawyer events. And because I'm targeting female entrepreneurs, I'm pretty sure that they're probably going to some women empowerment events, right? So I'm going to target women empowerment organizations. So that's step 2. So I'm researching all of those online. I'm going out. I'm trying to figure out where the best meetings are to plant those seeds. So step 3 is I'm taking all that information from 1 and 2 and I'm creating a plan. We've all heard it. You need the proper planning prevents poor performance, right? So we need to create a plan. So we're going to have a strategy in place where we say, it hasn't been working going to all these networking events with a bunch of cards and throwing them out there and hoping someone calls. So I call that the spray and pray, right? So you're spraying your business card out there and you're praying that someone calls you back. And sometimes they do, but to me, that's exhausting. That is so exhausting, and the ROI is not high enough to go through that. So I like to have a strategic plan. So I'd say my goal is to make 3 meaningful connections at every networking event. So my focus is to get that connection, to build that relationship early on that I'm going to cultivate. You plant that seed, you water it, and hopefully it becomes a beautiful tree. And so, but it starts with the plan. It really starts with, this is the event I'm going to go to. These are the people I've identified. And now I'm going to make 3 meaningful connections at that event. It feels great. You feel so satisfied when you accomplish it. It's a very realistic goal. And you're going to be more motivated and have more energy to do these networking events if you set these realistic goals. If you get overwhelmed and tired and stressed, you're not going to go. And you're obviously not going to come off as well as you could. You're not going to build those connections if you're feeling stressed or anxious or just exhausted, right? Step 4, you're gonna show up, right? Step 4 is showing up. This is half the battle. 1 through 3 don't matter if you don't show up, right? Show up, go to the event. Now I know life happens. We can't help when emergencies come up that prevent us from going to an event, but if it's something habitual with you, you really need to stay curious about that. Why is it become habitual that you're not showing up? So you need to really make a conscious effort to get to these events. I like showing up early. I think it makes a better impression. It enables me to meet and make better connections, but nothing is gonna happen. No connections are gonna be facilitated if you don't show up, and that's show up in person or online. A lot of online networking events, you can watch live streams and everything, but if you're not there, if you're not in it, if you're not participating and engaging with the person, you're not connecting, you're not forming any relationships, and you're not gonna first, you're not even gonna have a real network, right? You're gonna have a faux network, but you're not gonna really have a network to turn into NetWORTH at all. So you have to show up. And what's the 5th and final step that you need to take? It's follow up. Following up is so important. I like to send handwritten notes to people that I feel like I've really connected with, or maybe if I don't have their address, I send them, I slide into their DMs or email them. I try to figure out where they are, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, any way I can reach out to them to say it was great meeting you, and mention something that I remember from the conversation, and to try to set up that next one-to-one meeting with them. I want to have lunch or breakfast or dinner or happy hour, any way that I can connect. Coffee. I love coffee. You like tea? We can get tea. I'll get a coffee. But you want to set up that meeting, because that's really the follow-up, is where that connection is going to solidify. Everything you've been working on, it's going to come together. If you go through those 5, so what are they again? So we're just going to summarize them a little bit. So 1, identify your target market. 2, research. 3, plan, set those realistic goals. 4, show up. And 5, follow up. If you put these plans in action right now, you start doing this, you're going to make those connections, and you're going to be able to turn your network into net worth. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know you probably have some questions. Drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to ring that bell to subscribe. We're going to be launching more videos to come. We're going to be deep diving into each one of those 5 strategies coming up. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss the upcoming networking mavens. They're going to be bringing so much value and e-mentorship to your life. I am so excited to launch that. And you can also subscribe to our monthly newsletter. You can go over to networkingmaverick.com and you read the blog, subscribe to the newsletter. I'll be coming into your inbox soon. If not, I'll see you on Instagram or at the next networking event. Until then, happy connecting.